At the beginning of the movie, The Expendables, a team of men consisting of leader Barney Ross, right-hand man Lee Christmas, Yin Yang, Hale Caesar, Toll Road, Jensen, and the youngest and newest member Billy, nicknamed the Kid, are deployed to Nepal to rescue a Chinese businessman from the Nepalese militia. The team get in there and bombard the militia with fierce attack. The militia, after recovering from its initial shock, responds in kind, and an intense battle ensues which tears the small Nepalese village apart. The Expendables overwhelm the militia, get to their target, but they are surprised to find him tied up with Barney's rival Trench, who also had come to rescue the businessman. They untie them both, and the embarrassed Trench thanks them and leaves. As the Expendables prepare to make their escape, they are ambushed by the surviving militia once more. The Expendables shoot their way out of the village into the thick jungles of Nepal. When more of the militia follow them and attack them, Billy the Kid, who is a trained sniper soldier, provides support from afar and takes the militia out one by one, which impresses his new older teammates. The Expendables together with their target escape by a helicopter safely. After traveling some distance, Yin takes the Chinese businessman and parachutes down to China to escort him home. The rest of the Expendables fly back home to New Orleans, America, playfully teasing one another and congratulating each other for a job well done. In New Orleans, the Expendables go to the local bar to celebrate being back home. Billy the Kid takes Barney aside and informs him of his plan to quit the group by the end of the month, as he hopes to start a life with his French girlfriend Sophia, who he met while as a soldier on duty in Afghanistan. He explains that he would like to stay the rest of the month to make more money for his new life with Sophia and asks for Barney's blessing. Barney completely understands Billy and gives him his full support. A few days later, CIA operative Mr. Church meets with Barney and reminds him that the Expendables owe him for helping them stay out of prison after their last job. As payback, Mr. Church forces the Expendables to take a secret mission that entails a recovery of a computer item from a plane crash site in Albania. Mr. Church promises to send technical expert Maggie Chan to accompany them for her expertise on the item and warns Barney to make sure the item doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Maggie joins the Expendables and they start their journey to Albania by plane. During their flight, Maggie gets to know members of her new team. Once in Albania, the team is forced to leave their plane behind and travel by truck, as the crash site is found surrounded by mountains. They take their truck and get to the crash site. Barney sends Billy to go to the top of the mountain and take point while giving them cover over any unexpected movements. The team goes down to the rubbles where Maggie identifies the item and secures it, and the team make their way back, appreciating how easy the task was. Unfortunately, just as they get out to the ground, they are shocked to see that Billy has been captured by the Sangs, a criminal gang headed by international criminal arms dealer Jean Vilain and his right-hand man Hector. Jean forces the Expendables to hand over the item, threatening Billy's life. Then Jean orders the Expendables to lay face down on the ground while he and his men leave. The Expendables follow the order, but just before the Sangs get on their helicopter to escape, Jean fatally stabs Billy. As the Sangs leave, Barney and the team rush to Billy to hear him speak his last words, in which he gives them a letter for Sophia. The team is heartbroken by Billy's death. They bury their comrade in the mountains while vowing vengeance on the Sangs. A few hours later, the team gathers itself and Maggie explains the item is a computer that contains maps and information on the location of 5 tons of refined weapons-grade plutonium in an abandoned mine by the Soviet Union after the Cold War. Barney then orders Maggie to track the item and they follow the signal to Bulgaria. Lee is sent back to their plane to gather more ammunition, while the rest of the team camp out for the night in an abandoned Russian military base, planning possible options of attack. Meanwhile, Jean and Hector reach the mine site, in a rural village of Bulgaria, where the rest of their team supervises the digging of the mine by local men they forcefully recruited. Jean orders Hector to make sure to complete the task and find all the 5 tons of plutonium in the next couple of days, as he has buyers lined up. Back in the abandoned Russian military base, as the Expendables rise early in the morning to start their journey to the Bulgarian village, they are ambushed by the Sangs, who have come equipped with tanks and heavy-grade weapons. The Expendables try to respond and protect themselves, but they run out of ammunition and try to hide and get out of the way of the fire, hoping Lee would get there in time to refill their ammunition. However, they are outnumbered and overwhelmed, and they take heavy fire. Just when the Expendables are about to give up, Booker, an old friend of Barney, comes to their rescue and single-handedly eliminates the Sangs. The Expendables are grateful for Booker's intervention and Barney explains the situation they are in. Booker tells Barney to go to the next village for help, as the villagers hate the Sangs for taking all their men and young boys as slaves to mine, and they never return. The Expendables thank Booker, and he departs. Lee then finally comes with all the ammunition they need, and the team proceeds on their journey to the next village. When they get to the next village, they are fired upon and stopped from entering by armed women on guard. The Expendables identify themselves and their purpose to eliminate the Sangs, and the leader of the women allows them in. She explains their situation, that they are guarding their surviving young boys from being taken by the Sangs, as all the men and older boys have already been taken to the mine, never to be seen again, with false promises of job security and good pay. The leader then pleads with the Expendables to help them. The Expendables agree, and they lay, hiding in wait for the Sangs to come and take more people from the village. When the Sangs do come, the Expendables disguise themselves, attack them without remorse, and kill them all. Then the Expendables make their way to the mine and see that it's highly guarded with heavily armed soldiers and minefields all over the place. And so they have no choice but to take their old plan into the area. Meanwhile, inside the mine, Hector announces that they have found the plutonium and orders the men to carefully take it all out to pack it into a truck. As soon as they're finished with that task, Jean orders Hector to tie up loose ends, which translates into having everyone killed and buried there in the mine, as he escapes with Hector and the plutonium in the truck. The Expendables fly over the mine and Barney courageously flies the plane into the mine. The team gets off and kills the shocked Sangs soldiers one by one, also saving the villagers that were about to be mass murdered. Unbeknownst to the Expendables, Jean had placed explosives all around the mine and detonated it after he successfully escaped and traveled a few miles. The explosion collapses the mine, and even though the Expendables survive it, they get trapped inside along with the villagers. Running out of options, the Expendables sit there trying to come up with their next move. Hale then employs the villagers' help in trying to make phosphate explosives but fails. The villagers start to panic until they see a helicopter crash through the rubble wall that trapped them in. As the Expendables are confused trying to figure out what's going on, out comes Trench from the helicopter declaring that he has finally paid his debt to the Expendables for rescuing him from the Nepalese militia. Relieved, the Expendables safely lead the villagers out of the mine. The villagers are emotionally and gratefully reunited with their families waiting back home. Trench tells Barney that Mr. Church has come to help with the mission, and they all come up with their next plan. Figuring that Jean is probably planning to transport the plutonium overseas, the team flies to the local airstrip and waits for Jean and Hector, who are driving the plutonium to their helicopter. They ambush them at the gate of the airstrip, and an intense battle ensues with ammunition flying everywhere accompanied by several explosions. Amidst the fight, the team is surprised and happy to see that Booker has joined to help them. The Expendables, together with Trench, Mr. Church, and Booker, use their collective experience to fight the Sangs, who outnumber them. After a lengthy and intense battle, the team manages to neutralize many of the Sangs' men except the leaders. Lee follows Hector, engages in a gunfight and kills Hector as he was rushing to load the plutonium onto their helicopter. Barney follows Jean and engages him in a gunfight. Jean claims that he has run out of ammunition and challenges Barney to a physical fight. Barney takes the bait and the two enter into a fierce physical fight. Both of the men take hard knocks, but Barney comes out on top and stabs and kills Jean just like the way Jean killed Billy. Mr. Church gathers all the Expendables, tells them they have paid their debt, and congratulates them on successfully finishing a tough mission. To show his gratitude, he offers them an old plane to replace their old one they lost at the mines. Maggie bids farewell to Barney, tells him to let her know if they ever need an extra man for their missions, and joins Booker, Trench, and Mr. Church as they leave to go back home. The Expendables take their new plane, have a toast to Billy the Kid, and fly back to New Orleans. In Paris, France, Sophia gets a package delivered on her doorsteps. She opens it to find a box full of money, which was supposed to be Billy's pay from the last job, Billy's picture, and the letter he wrote her. She fondly and emotionally holds onto the picture. The end.